Chapter 1. Luna. Like most of my adventures, this one began in bed, wrapped in covers, warm and absolutely unwilling to move. I, now awake, was but a few moments earlier in a deep slumber like my companions in the neighboring rooms. What awoke me? A scratching at the door. It was likely the cat of the family who kindly gave us room and board for the night. Though becoming more wide awake by the moment, I was determined to attempt resuming my rest. A more determined cat I had not met, so I decided to give in and let it into the room. No cat. No cat. Strange, I thought to myself. I closed the door. Then the scratching resumed. If it had not been so bright outside, I believe I would have been frightened. At the very least, I was becoming increasingly perplexed and a tad unsettled. There was definitely no going back to sleep now. I closed my eyes in hopes of better locating where the scratching was coming from. And a faint behind me. A door stood shyly in the corner of the room. It was so politely unassuming that I had missed it entirely. I will admit, I felt a bit silly missing such a large door. As I approached, the scratching ceased. The door opened as quietly and politely as it stood. Nothing. Wait. Part of the shadow in the back of the closet disconnected and began to take the form of a cat. The purring void, who answered to the name of Luna, affectionately stuck fast beside me for the remainder of the morning. I now had a new shadow. Chapter 2. Preparations. I took the example of my new friend and attempted to wake up my fellow adventurers by a scratch or two, or more. Now, it wasn't that strange in certain cultures. It was actually considered polite, so don't be hasty in casting judgment. After my unsuccessful attempts at waking my friends, I resorted to reading a very appalling story by the Brothers Grimm. After much waiting and reading alone in a sleeping house, my companions awoke for breakfast. My kin arrived in time to join our party and for the food. We all ate heartily. I had 2 servings of breakfast pizza, a sourdough flatbread with eggs, cheese, and bacon. With full stomachs, we got dressed for the day. It was less than an hour's carriage ride to the fair. Chapter 3. The Fair. A steady procession of nobility, sprites, and woodland people were winding down the hill, over the bridge, and through the gates into the town. The leaves were all a golden and amber hue, which mimicked the genuine things when the sun hit them just right. There were banners and bells, music and laughter. It was all a tad overwhelming at times, especially in the popular parts of the town where the most desired vendors and merchants set up their stalls. The fair was known for serving its specialty giant turkey legs. The last time I was there, I forgot to try the famous drumstick, but I was now back to finally take part in the tradition.
Yes, if you shall. Quite parched.
After a good deal of wandering, half of our party made our way towards the food stalls for a snack. Fried pickles. On my previous visit to the town for their summertime fair, my friend introduced me to a local delicacy of hot, fried pickle slices dipped in ranch sauce. At first, I was distrustful of the idea that a hot pickle could taste good, but it was not the worst idea I had ever heard, so I gave it a try and found it to be more than a bit enjoyable. Now that my kin was with me for the autumn fair, I was set on letting her take part in my recent culinary discovery. After satisfying our nagging stomachs, we set off to locate the rest of our party, who we would later discover were in the Artists Guild having their portraits drawn. Chapter 4, Nightfall. Golden light turned silver. The dusk had crept upon the town like a robber. Just less sinister, perhaps, like a mother approaching her peacefully sleeping child. Nature began its nightly routine. Songbirds quieted, and insects began their evening concert, all in their place, and every place in order. But the fair would not be fazed by the oncoming darkness. Lanterns were lit, festivities continued, and the fairgoers only grew merrier.
Look at the castle.
Before we knew it, dusk had turned over into night. Strangers and friends, fae folk and halflings, all dancing in the town center up until the gates were about to close. I couldn't think of a better ending to the day's festivities. The music lingered on in my head as I rolled up into the covers, in my own bed this time. Lord, what a night, what fun I had. Thank you. And with a number of other mumbled prayers, I drifted off to sleep.